Welcome to The Explainer. So, if you're running a business in India right now, you already know the deal. Digital advertising has gotten incredibly competitive. We are seeing rising cost per clicks pretty much across the board, frequent platform updates that totally change the rules of the game, and competitors who are just getting smarter by the minute. Simply throwing money at a campaign and crossing your fingers, yeah, that just doesn't cut it anymore. Today, we're unpacking exactly what it takes to navigate Google Ads management services in India and how the right strategy can completely transform your business's growth trajectory. Okay, let's dive into this. Let me ask you something. Are you spending money on Google Ads, but you're just not seeing the leads or sales you actually expected? Well, if you're not in your head right now, believe me, you are absolutely not alone. It is incredibly frustrating as a business owner to watch your hard-earned marketing budget just drain away click by click with literally nothing to show for it at the end of the month. Look, I want to validate that frustration right out of the gate because thousands of Indian businesses fall into what we can call the ad spend trap. It happens when you try to run complex ad campaigns without having that deep platform expertise. What you inevitably end up with are poorly optimized accounts, wasted budgets, and just a flood of low-quality traffic that never actually converts into paying customers. It's this vicious cycle that can quickly burn through your capital and leave you questioning if digital advertising even works at all. But here's the thing, it does work, but only when it's executed correctly. So here is our roadmap for today to help demystify the whole process. First, we've got the ad spend trap, then inside pro management. Third is DIY versus the pros. Fourth, we'll cover what does it cost, and finally, choosing a partner. Moving right into section 1, inside professional ads management. Let's move to the next step and see how this builds into a real foundational framework. Because a true expert doesn't just guess keywords or boost a random ad on a whim. No way. They follow a proven, chronological framework before they spend a single rupee of your budget. First up is campaign strategy and planning, where they analyze your competitors and perfectly align the ad types with your specific revenue goals. Second is the technical and strategic setup. This means creating tightly themed ad groups and making absolutely sure your conversion tracking is flawlessly implemented. Finally, there is meticulous keyword research and intent targeting. A weak setup here just leads to wasted clicks, but doing these 3 steps perfectly, that creates the backbone for true, predictable success. Now here's a massive point we really need to emphasize. Running ads is never, ever a set and forget activity. It's not a houseplant. Continuous optimization is what separates average campaigns from the highly profitable ones. You need to constantly pause low-performing keywords, aggressively improve your quality score to drive down costs, A/B test your ad copies, refine your audience targeting, adjust bids based on real-time data, and of course, scale those winning campaigns. While you might see some initial sparks in the first 1 to 2 weeks, optimal, rock-solid performance really requires 30 to 60 days of this relentless, continuous optimization. And this brings us to a really critical strategy shift. Amateur accounts usually chase high-volume keywords, right? They want maximum visibility. But honestly, that usually just brings in a bunch of window shoppers. Experts, on the other hand, focus intensely on buyer intent keywords. They look for location-based searches and highly specific service queries. For example, instead of just targeting the word shoes, they'll target buy men's running shoes in Mumbai. If you're an Indian business targeting local or regional customers, focusing on that intent rather than sheer search volume is highly effective, and it will completely change your conversion rates for the better. All right, section 2, DIY versus professional agencies. Let's see who really wins. And this brilliantly illustrates the stark contrast between those two approaches. When you try to DIY your ads, your setup quality is usually pretty average, and the optimization, well, it's extremely limited because let's face it, you've got a whole business to run. But with professional management, setup quality is top tier, optimization is continuous, and your budget control becomes highly strategic. The end result? DIY usually leaves you with inconsistent lead quality and makes scaling really difficult, while professional management consistently delivers high lead quality and gives you an account that is incredibly easy to scale once you're ready to grow. So, you might be wondering, if you're going to outsource this, why specifically look at hiring an Indian PPC agency? Well, there are some very distinct strategic advantages here. First off is cost efficiency. You're getting world-class expertise, but at lower management costs compared to a lot of global agencies. Then there's the deep local market understanding. India is such a unique, wonderfully diverse market, and a local agency knows exactly how to target Indian audiences effectively. Add in the time zone alignment for faster communication and execution, plus their broad exposure to multiple local business models, and you suddenly have a massive competitive edge. Now, I know a super common fear here is losing control of your business assets. We hear that all the time. But professional ad account management doesn't mean giving up control. Actually, scratch that. It means the exact opposite. It is entirely defined by ensuring full transparency where you, the client, retain total 100% ownership of the account. A reputable agency makes sure you have clear access to your data and provides structured insights. You are literally never in the dark about where your money is going. Think of it like this. You own the house. They are just managing the property. Which brings us to Section 3, the million-dollar question. What does it cost? Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how the industry breaks down fees. You're generally going to see 3 common pricing models out there. There's a fixed monthly fee, a percentage of your total ad spend, or performance-based pricing, where they earn based on the actual results they deliver for you. Keep in mind, though, that the exact numbers are going to vary based on your monthly ad spend volume, how complex the campaigns are to build, and just how fiercely competitive your specific industry is. But wait, before you go hunting for the lowest bidder, I want you to read this incredibly powerful pro tip straight from our source material. Cheapest services often cost more in wasted ad spend. Wow, that is a crucial warning. If you try to cut corners on the agency's management fee, you almost always end up with someone who just lacks the time or the expertise to properly optimize your account. Sure, you might save a few rupees on their fee up front, but you are going to end up burning thousands of rupees of your actual advertising budget on totally irrelevant clicks. Trust me, value always trumps the lowest price tag here. Moving on to Section 4, choosing your agency partner. Here is your ultimate hiring framework. Seriously, when you are vetting potential partners, literally take this hiring checklist with you. You need to ask them these specific questions. Ask, do they provide transparent reporting? Will I own my ad account? Crucially, do they focus on actual conversions and sales, or are they just looking at vanity metrics like clicks? Do they have experience in your specific industry? And finally, are they certified experts? That last one is so absolutely vital because certified professionals adapt to platform changes way faster, they follow the strictest best practices, and they significantly minimize your financial risk. And once you do hire them, you need to demand clarity. A really good agency isn't going to hide behind confusing dashboards that look like an airplane cockpit. They provide simple, actionable reports. You should fully expect to see the exact number of leads or sales generated, your specific cost per conversion, a crystal clear ROI and spend breakdown, and metrics that clearly show month-on-month improvement. If the report doesn't actively help you make a business decision, honestly, it's just not a good report. So the crucial point we need to land on here is this fundamental mindset shift. When it's executed correctly, professional Google Ads management is absolutely not an expense on your balance sheet. It is a vital investment in clarity, performance, and scalable ROI. It's really all about taking the guesswork out of your marketing and replacing it with a highly predictable engine that actually drives your business forward. Which leaves us with one final, pretty provocative question to chew on today. Is your ad account ready for professional growth, or are you just going to keep subsidizing Google with all that wasted ad spend? It might really be time to stop guessing and start partnering with the pros so you can finally scale. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and we will definitely catch you next time.